Hey tennis fans, this is Markus from All About Tennis. As promised, here is my second video about court positioning. It's about the positioning at the net to cover the court perfectly. Last time I talked about the court positioning at the baseline, and I kind of want to compare these two. Similar to the baseline position, the net position will only be in the middle of the court when your opponent hits his ball from the middle of the court too. I marked this scenario in yellow color. But now I want to show the more important situation with red lines. Your opponent will be hitting the ball from 1 meter behind the baseline while being 1 meter inside the single sideline, so from this spot here. The down the line shot is about 1 meter away from the single sideline and will be traveling perfectly straight parallel to the single sideline. However, the cross-court shot, especially the short cross-court shot, is more important when you're at the net, since it is more difficult to imagine the flight path of the cross ball. Passing someone with a deep cross-court shot is not very common, since this ball would be a lot closer to the net player and the chances of passing the net player are very low. So we will be mostly looking at the short cross-court shot. Both balls will bounce about 1 meter inside the single sidelines. So when you're at the net, the cross ball is much closer to the middle than the long line shot. As a result, standing in the middle would mean that you get passed down the line all the time, and you wouldn't stand a chance to get to that long line ball. So this would be the perfect position for you if someone hits the ball from this corner. It's right in between these red lines and not in the middle of the court. If we compare that now to the baseline, you can see that the short cross-court ball pushes you quite far out of the court. So at the baseline, you would have to position yourself to the left side of the middle to recover the short cross ball. Thus, at the baseline, you always have to position yourself on the other side from where the ball is coming from, while at the net, you have to position yourself on the same side from where the ball is coming from. This means that you should always run behind your ball when coming to the net. Now I want to look at a different situation. Let's compare the shot from 1 meter inside the court, marked with yellow color, to 1 meter outside the court, marked with red color. The lines show the possible passing shots, a long line and a short cross-court shot. So the position you'll have to take is in the middle of the yellow lines and in the middle of the red lines, of course. The red position has to be more to the left than the yellow position, because the red long line shot is further away than the yellow long line shot. And on the right side, the red cross-court shot is closer to you than the yellow cross-court shot. This means you always have to follow your opponent. If you make him run very far out of the court, you have to follow him and your distance to the middle of the court grows. Last but not least, I want to show you the following scenario. In the first situation, your opponent is hitting the ball from this yellow spot here. Actually, it's the same shot we just talked about. In the second situation, marked with white color, the distance to the singles line stays exactly the same, but your opponent is now 1 meter behind the service line and he's far inside the court. Does this have any impact on your position? Yes, it has. The long line shot doesn't change. You can see that the yellow and white shots are just next to each other. But the cross-court shots are different. If you look at the white line, you can see that it's closer to you than the yellow line. So your position would have to be more to the left to cover the court perfectly. Actually, you have to cover less court when your opponent is closer to you, at the white position here. If you are at the baseline, you would have to cover more court when your opponent is hitting a ball at the white position. Possibly you would say now that you have to approach with a short approach shot to the service line, and theoretically speaking this isn't wrong because the white lines are closer to one another and the yellow lines are more spread. So you have to cover less court when being at the net. However, the disadvantage of approaching with a short ball is that you have a lot less time to react to the passing shot. But yes, if you are able to approach with a very good low bouncing short slice, this would be the perfect way to cover the net. But if your approach is not quite that good, you simply have no time to react and you will either get past or actually hit. This makes it very hard to hit that sort of an approach shot. You can also see that I changed the distance to the net from the yellow to the white star. The white star is closer to the net, but I will talk more about that in my next video. This could be something not all of you guys know yet, even the more experienced players. Okay, that's all for now, and as always, have fun practicing.